What do our pets reveal to us when we really pay attention? Some days my schedule moves from a bird to a guinea pig to a dog to a cat and maybe a lizard tucked there in between. And there's different exam rooms, there's different anatomy, and there's different textbook. But yet, at the end of the day, I often feel like I've seen the same patient over and over again. Not the same disease, not the same species, the same pattern. Maybe it's a bird plucking the feathers because of a noisy home, or a rabbit with a chronic skin issue with repeated environmental changes. Or there's always that dog with an inflammatory disease living in constant household tension. Or the cat whose appetite and behavior shift every time their human stresses out. Different bodies, familiar story. It's in these moments that I'm reminded why I can't practice medicine in little bits and pieces. In dogs, stress often shows up loudly. Skin disease, GI upset, hypervigilance. In cats, it's a bit quieter. They tend to withdraw. They have subtle appetite changes. Maybe they have litter box issues. And birds, they externalize it like crazy through feather picking and screaming their bloody heads off. And our little tiny small animals, we see it as decreased gut motility and oftentimes weight loss. And those scaly reptiles, usually through picky eating and probably a failure to thrive. Different species express distress differently. But the governing principles are exactly the same. Biology doesn't reinvent itself just because the patient has fur, feathers, or scales. Pain, stress, aging, disease, and healing repeat themselves across species. The signals change, but the rules, they don't. Veterinary medicine is often taught in silos. Dogs here, cats there, birds over there, exotics somewhere in between. But biology, that doesn't live in a silo. Disease is rarely just a broken organ or a faulty pathway. It's often a state of dis-ease, a system that is no longer easeful. Something has been disrupted. That disruption might be environmental, nutritional, emotional, rhythmic, or related to safety. And the body responds the only way it knows how. When we reduce disease to the smallest possible part, we miss the larger truth. We chase symptoms. We escalate treatments. We wonder why things keep coming back. Owners are often surprised by how much everyday stress affects their animals, like yelling, cigarette smoke, poor air quality, unpredictable schedules, and here's a big one, emotional volatility. These don't just affect the people in the house. Animals don't get to leave. They absorb it. And when we ignore the whole picture, animals suffer longer than what they need to. Not because we didn't care, but because we didn't look wide enough. This perspective has changed how I practice veterinary medicine. I still value specialists. Deep expertise matters, and advanced medicine matters, and precision matters. But alongside medical questions, I now ask different ones. What is the animal's daily environment look like? What does stress look like in this household? What emotional role is this animal playing? Where is the system asking too much of that one little body? My boundaries have changed too. I no longer promise fixes without conversations. I no longer pretend that medicine alone can undo chronic stress. I frame treatment as a shared responsibility between biology, environment, and the humans that are involved. What I wish every pet owner would understand is this. Animals are so generous. They show up unconditionally every single day. They regulate us, they ground us, and they absorb more than what we realize. Asking an animal to be emotional support without supporting yourself is a big ask. It doesn't make you bad, it makes you human, but it does have a cost. Working on yourself is not separate from caring for your animal. It's part of the treatment plan. This series exists to name patterns that repeat across species, not to oversimplify, not to sensationalize it, but to illuminate it. The goal isn't perfection or control. It's earlier recognition, better conversation, and kinder decisions. If fewer animals suffer in silence because someone learned to look differently, that may be enough. And maybe the deeper lesson is this: when we learn to see animals more clearly, we are often being asked to see ourselves the same way. If this way of thinking resonates with you, subscribe here on YouTube, and you can read the full essay in this week's Lessons Across Species on my Substack.